How you doing, Scorpio? Alrighty. I tried to do your reading the past couple times, but for some reason, I'm just stumped when it comes to reading you. I don't know why. I mean, it's my rising and all. But let's see what's going on here. Scorpio. We'll do Celtic Cross for you. Scorpio. High Priestess. Is that a peeker? Yeah, somewhere I saw it. Ooh. Why is that crossing you? So. Foundation. Cause of the situation. Oh. The past. The future. Oh, what the? Did I miss that? How you see yourself. Okay, so 8. Hopes and outcome. So, Scorpio. For some reason, what I've been seeing or what I've been gathering with the past readings is way too much. But I'll take out what's needed. But there was an ending, a breakup. But let's see if this turns out what it is as well. So first card out is High Priestess. This is you. Someone who's very spiritually inclined. Someone who can be spiritually gifted. Also psychic. Someone who studies about the spiritual realm and the occult. Maybe someone who holds a lot of secrets, who sees all but doesn't speak or share what they see. Now, the High Priestess, although with a lot of spiritual gifts, they could sometimes have some issues with their relationships as well. You know, sometimes they're so cerebral and internal because their journey is quite internal that they could sometimes seem kind of socially inept, you know. Perhaps you have a really rich internal world and it's needed to be able to connect to the divine and the spirit world and, you know, many other things that you hold dear, although not all of you are occultists, but some of you are definitely quite spiritual. What crosses you is a 10 of Cups, a lack of emotional fulfillment, or this is emotional fulfillment. This is what crosses you. This is your immediate challenge, a 10 of Cups. Maybe an ending to an emotional fulfillment, maybe a chance for emotional fulfillment. Your foundation, maybe an ending to an emotional fulfillment, an ending to a family, a shared home. And the foundation is betrayal, it's heartache that caused your situations your physical and emotional needs, and plus your subconscious desires. Why would that be your subconscious desires as a Three of Swords? But this is your foundation. Maybe you had a very emotionally fulfilled family situation, and perhaps this is like a self-sabotage. Maybe you feel that you would always get betrayed, or you always do get betrayed, that you kind of bring that on and you make a fear turn into reality. Perhaps you feel that it's something that you've come to expect with many relationships or a history. Maybe this is due to a lack of communication. Maybe you're not speaking to this person that you shared this emotional family situation with or foundation. Perhaps you've got together because you were both heartbroken at the time, but it's like that false beliefs become real, you know? Perhaps you've had a lot of trust issues in Scorpios. I mean, that's my rising. If I know trust issues, I know. So maybe sometimes we tend to seek out the people that eventually proves us right. Perhaps we unconsciously seek out those people that will prove us right. The past, Seven of Clubs, wanting to be victorious, trying to stay on top of things, and feeling that you went toward this with a lot of honest effort. And you wanted to be victorious is something that you had to fight for, which makes the betrayal so much more painful. Because you did work so hard on it. You did give so much effort and passion into this. And you did have so much love, but now it seems like there's been a block of communication. Maybe you put a lot of effort into somebody and, you know, they never met you halfway. And with Scorpio, although we do have that trust issue, we tend to get carried away with our passions sometimes. And we're quite black and white. So when things are go, it's like go, you know? It's like all engines running, and sometimes you let the passion and excitement of the situation run away with you. Sometimes so much that you rush into something and you're sometimes kind of unsure how you feel when you actually get it. Because maybe there's an all-encompassing fear that perhaps a betrayal is always looming on right around the corner. Because it always has been. Perhaps this has been a defense mechanism, and you've had to fight for everything that you got, and that's why you fear that whatever you put in won't be returned, because when you do put in, it's not returned. Perhaps you kind of seek out people who don't have a lot of commitment or don't want to put a lot in, and maybe it's that personality that makes you want to work hard for it. But your goal and your conscious awareness, best that can be achieved, this is victory. You worked really hard for something. You fought really, really hard for something. And it was all on the foundation of heartbreak. This heartbreak, possibly these multiple heartbreaks within your life, people who should have been there for you or supportive of you, they never really were. So perhaps you had to do it all on your own. And you had to fight for everything that you got. But it's going to pay off, because what's above you? Your ultimate goal is victory. And, God knows what could stop Scorpio when Scorpio's ready to go. It's like trying to stop an Aries or a Taurus when they're ready to go. You might as well, if you don't got a brick wall, you're going to get through. It's that persistence. And it's built on that foundation of heartbreak. So you tended not to trust anybody because they did always kind of let you down. And instead of letting these heartbreaks kind of break you, you use that as fuel to keep onto your own personal path on your own by yourself, and it will eventually lead you to victory, because that's, in all intensive purposes, your direction of where you're going to go. What's ahead of you is a page of clubs. Your future, what is just before you. Page is a message about movement. Maybe you're going to receive a message about movement or action, or you're going to send out a message about movement. Maybe there's a movement up ahead of you, or you're moving away from a certain kind of life, like certain beliefs, and you're keeping quiet about it. You're not communicating, you're not speaking on this because you're looking for emotional fulfillment. And you don't want anyone who hasn't been there for you to come and try to sabotage it, because, if they're not supporting you, unfortunately, more often than not, when it comes to Scorpio, they're not supporting you, they're probably trying to break it down. And I don't want to sound paranoid as a Scorpio rising myself, but unfortunately, sometimes the people closest to you are the people who tend to sabotage you the most. And you're moving away from this. Maybe there will be a move in your future, or a message about a move, or an opportunity about a movement, or somebody will reach out to you about it. You're moving towards somewhere in particular, and you use this heartbreak as the foundation to try to move somewhere that will be life-changing. Something that's definitely worth fighting for and to stay on top for, possibly even a family situation and your overall emotional fulfillment within your own family. And you're not looking for anyone to come in and bust that up either, because it looks like you're setting up your boundaries and you're ready to break any knees that tries to cross that line. Now, how you see yourself, 10 of Clubs, you feel overwhelmed and overburdened. You know, it's like you're up for the challenge, but you feel like there's just so much that you have to attend to, maybe so much responsibilities that you don't even know how you did most of it on your own, but it's like you really don't have a lot of options except to do it on your own, because every time you try to bring somebody in, they ended up just holding you back. Maybe the fuel of this past heartbreak going towards your future, maybe it has to do a little bit with wanting to be seen as victorious, wanting to kind of make the naysayers eat their words a bit. But there will be an opportunity to move, or a message about movement coming towards you. You're moving forwards to someone and you're overwhelmed, but you know, it's like you're doing what you can. And although you wish you could do more, you're doing what you're able to do all by yourself. Because it looks like you have your hands full. You got a lot of responsibilities, and you know, unfortunately, you seem to have to do it. Had to do it on your own for a really long time. So, it doesn't seem like this is anything new. Your environment, your home, your surroundings, family, love, friends, and work, that which is outside of yourself, and how others perceive you. They perceive you as having a new emotional beginning. Maybe you had a lot of high conflict people in your life, but you made some cuts. You know, you trimmed the fat, so to speak, and it really freed you up to start off with, go out on a journey that was really emotionally fulfilling towards you and for you, something that you have a lot of love and emotion for, like a labor of love, possibly a new relationship. Maybe people think that you have a new relationship on the horizon. Maybe you could, maybe you don't. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a career path, maybe it's a business. But it's something you have a lot of deep emotion and love for. And it's emotionally fulfilling, but it is a beginning. And that's how people see you. Maybe you've these people that you did have in your life, that you had a fight to keep your position. Maybe they try to knock you down a few pegs whenever they're around you. And possibly even took what they could and left you broken. But you know what? Even though you are overwhelmed and you're overworked, you make it look real easy, because nobody sees that. And although you do, you put everything that you have, they see you as like, you know, free, searching out new emotional beginnings. Your hopes and fears. No. Actually, this is your environment. How you see yourself, overburdened, your environment. You're having a new emotional beginning. You're starting out a journey of something fresh and new. Maybe you were held back on going after a lot of your dreams or your passions in life. Maybe you're afraid of being judged in the past, but your environment now, you're starting out something brand new, and you're it's like a foundation was broken or destroyed, and now you're building it up based with love, because you're putting what you're passionate about and what's emotionally fulfilling first. Perhaps you had a lot of shitty jobs and a lot of crap career that you hated, and you felt like you were dying within that job, but you stayed way too long, and perhaps you got pushed out before you were willing to leave yourself because of it. And that actually opens you up for something to start building something brand new, something amazing. And your environment is that Ace of Cups. It's brand new. It's brand new emotional beginning. This is emotional fulfillment. This is building something that out of love and happiness. Now, your hopes and fears, attaining the goal, the lesson to be learned, blocking your development. Your hopes and fears is the Queen of Coins. Now, your hopes is to be tangibly comfortable, to have everything that you need to be able to nourish yourself and others around you, and to the businesses, the creative businesses and financial businesses that you put yourself towards. Your hopes and fears is to become financially independent, to be that boss woman, possibly to work from home, possibly to start this new business and to become your own boss. But you fear it as well because it's something brand new. But you want to be your own boss. You want to put energy into something, and you want to put energy into something that you love, that will give you tangible comforts and rewards. Possibly a home business, and you're following your intuition to go towards it, and this is you moving towards it. Now, the outcome, what you will gain from this experience, the reward, the quality or tool that will help you achieve a breakthrough. So this is a Six of Swords. The outcome. You'll learn how to walk away when things are bad. You learn how to walk away from things that don't serve you. And although maybe in the past, because you're so loyal to a fault sometimes, that you stay in situations much longer than you should. And you get a lot more damaged than you actually got benefit from situations, and now you're no longer doing that. Now you're no longer fighting with high conflict people. Now you know you're gonna win that battle you're gonna win that war by not fighting the battle. And yeah, you do have all of your angst and fears and anxiety, your baggage that you're bringing with you. The first step to healing is to removing yourself from that toxic environment and to work on all of that baggage when you pull yourself out of it. And I believe that is your ultimate, lesson that you had to learn. Because perhaps you kept a lot of toxic people around who hurt you, and maybe you've given them more more than a couple chances to be able to do that, because you felt so deep for them, because you had emotion for them. But now you're learning how to walk away when the situation or person or environment no longer serves you. Because you know it's something that you have to do, because it's an akin to a soul death, right? These last 4 cards that came out, possibly universe cards, I could see that, is there's a lot of conflicts, possibly a lot of shit talking, a lot of lies, gossip, gaslighting. Within the situation, within these people, perhaps these people within your life, maybe this could have been a family unit or a business. Perhaps this was like a routine or a history within every environment that you were in, that it kind of ended up really high conflict within this like company or family situation or business or job. Maybe you found that a lot of people wanted to compete with you all of the time, or kind of talk behind your back. And I don't see it, because like you're outwardly trying to make issues. It's just, sometimes you project a certain kind of confidence, and even though you don't feel it, you're really good at that poker face, and even though you're anxious as hell within your head, you have that poker face like nothing ever bothers you. And perhaps you let things go a lot more than you should, up until the moment that you totally explode. But now you're starting to call it out when you see it, or move it in a way when you don't want to deal with it. And that poker face is like, well, you did something crappy, hurtful, betraying. Maybe you've had this treatment by family members or siblings as well. And if they do something outwardly mean or crappy or competitive, or it's like they don't see a reaction on your face, even though you're probably seething inside. They can't see it, so they tend to up the game and do things even way worse. And that's where this feeling of betrayal is, because maybe you've had a history of ignoring the small betrayals, to the point that, they come at you with like one of those betrayals that just takes your breath away, like, I can't believe you freaking did that, like, wow, like, I'm just shocked. And before, maybe it was little things like in a job situation or business or family, or some shared kind of endeavor. But whatever the case, it seems like this has been possibly a recurring thing within your life. Perhaps you've even had people who try to use things against you, like employment or like money or support. Perhaps you were always that breadwinner, and all of these people kind of depended on you, and you depended on them to help you with the kids, the household, or labor, or And it's like they knew that you needed them, and they used that against you as well. Perhaps a lot of people would be like, thought that you had what you needed, so it made them feel entitled to what you had. Or it made them resent you for having it. Like maybe you didn't deserve it, but you deserve everything that you did get. Why? Because you worked damn hard for everything that you did get. Nobody ever gave you handouts. Even the people that should have been there to support you, they weren't there. And when you did do good for yourself, instead of them like congratulating you, what did you get? More competition, more shit talking, because you were able to take care of yourself. Besides the fact that they were trying to tear you down at the same time. I don't know. But perhaps even the jobs that you took, it was the same kind of thing, that people always like try to compete with you. And I don't even think that you were trying to compete, because of that poker face, you know. Could have been dealing with a Taurus, but when you need to be, or when those alignments are right, man, you're structured as hell, and you're a smart ass person, Scorpio. I know that. Not smart ass like, but you're smart. You're intelligent. You're intuitive. This high priestess, I mean, that's all it says right there. And not only about spirituality, but organizations. Perhaps this is a job conflict, or perhaps you work in the government or state level. Perhaps you're having issues with a boss within that job, and high conflict. And it's like they try to hold it over on you, that power that they had of employment, or of that money, of that support that you needed. And you're like, you know what, screw it. I'm supporting everybody else, They kind of take what they want from me, and I never get anything back. And you're not doing it anymore. You're not overgiving anymore. And you're starting to put things away. And you're starting to save that time, energy, resources for yourself, like it should. Because this family and business situation, these people who try to compete with you because of what they held on over you, try to fit you in a box and control you. On top of getting whatever they need, or expecting you to kind of like compensate for that, you're no longer doing that. You save your energy and your resources for yourself. Maybe you've been spending a lot more money than you should have. Save your money. Put it away. Get organized. And start to work in an organized and structured fashion towards your goal and towards your own business. You fought these people off to be able to work on what you need to, and the only reason you're able to have as much energy that you do, despite everything that you got going on, is because now you're starting to save whatever is left over for yourself. Because you learned by history that in the end, the only person that you could depend on to really look out for your best interests is you, first and foremost. and I see like a huge life change. I think you're gonna build something brand new, and it's like these people have a lot to say about it. Possibly they're talking a lot of crap that you're building a family business and you're becoming your own boss, and you're no longer sharing all of whatever extras that you did have or you didn't have that they expected from you. And that's what's causing the conflict, because you know what? The people that hate you the most are the people that you did the most for. Ain't that some crap right there, right? Because they really felt entitled to all of it. They felt entitled that they didn't even feel like it was like a gift that they should be grateful for. They felt like it was something that you should have done to begin with. And you felt that. You felt it in your bones, and you're like, you know what? If that's what I get, I'm going to take that all back for myself. And good for you, Scorpio. 7 of Swords. What's hidden? Someone sneaking out into the night. Someone sneaky. Someone talking shit. I don't think it's really hidden, to be honest. I think with this High Priestess, you know who this person or people are. And I feel it is a group of people, possibly your family, possibly co-workers or ex-co-workers. You know, perhaps you got screwed over within a job situation, or, you know, perhaps you got screwed over within a family situation too. You always seem to get the short end of the stick because you are so giving and devoted and passionate towards the things that you have a lot of deep love for, and sometimes they took advantage of that. And perhaps you felt intuitively that this situation wasn't going to last, and you had to guard yourself from it, and you did the right thing. Learn from experience, because that's what the Hierophant does. He's very learned about structures, about organizations, about commitment. This could be even a commitment, and maybe this was a commitment within a family business, or a commitment for monetary reasons, putting your money together because you didn't have enough at the time. And perhaps you gave more than the other person. There was an inequality, and that caused the conflict. And you're no longer overgiven anymore. I think this is good, though. Let me give 4 more, as in universe. I mean, advice on the spread. Let's get 4 more advice on the spread. If this is a business, like a family business, or a business that you uploaded with friends, or like just a business or a job in general, perhaps somebody has been skinny money or not paying you what you're worth. And it was a high conflict situation. The high conflict people within this job environment, or, you know, shared finance environment, this commitment wise, maybe this boss is someone who can be really selfish and who doesn't really want to give anything or equally, and you're pulling back towards giving because it's like they're not meeting you halfway. And that's why it's causing a conflict, because perhaps they were used to you overextending yourself for so long. Maybe you were dealing with a Virgo, But there was a ending. Fast, sudden, unexpected. This is Mars energy. It's a total breaking apart of faulty foundations, violent ending, or at least very unexpected. It could have been due to a revelation, or just due to a lot of conflict. And after this ending, people became defensive. Possibly you blocked these people out. Possibly you should block these people out. This is advice. After this ending, there will be an ending if it didn't happen already. Guard yourself. Make a head over heart decision, or a head and heart decision, and be defensive. Don't make any decisions until you know for sure. Don't rush into anything, and don't even communicate. And, block this person out. Because you knew this is a faulty foundation. That these people weren't working for you. They weren't giving you your fair share. They were kind of just using you all up. And you know this, and you know that these people are a shit show. They're a disaster waiting to happen, and you're blocking them out. And if you didn't, it's telling you to block these people out. You're gonna go in. It's time for you to start your dark night of the soul. You're starting your own independent journey. You're looking within, because those who looks on the outside dream, those who looks within awakens. It's time for you to go within, connect with yourself in spirit. It's time for you to go on to that spiritual journey, into that dark night. And that journey to healing and self-discovery is done independently, alone. It's time for you to go in alone and start this journey of self-reflection. Maybe you were dealing with a Virgo. This Virgo is a damn liar, magician in reverse. And you blocked this Virgo out after he went on that journey alone, and he caused this tower to fall. But block this person out, Queen of Swords. Cut them out, yeah. It looks like you already did. And if you didn't, you definitely, this isn't a hard sell to you, because I feel like you know what kind of people these are. And I don't know if this was a shared business, or a shared home, or even a job, or this boss, or this father figure, or, this possibly even a mother figure or family. It was toxic as hell. And you were surrounded by a lot of selfish people. And the way you're going to achieve your dreams is to block out the toxic ass people who sabotaged you in the past and brought you to this betrayal. And you know what? They left. They wanted to go out. Well, good. Let them go. And you bolt that door and you don't let them come back. Because, Scorpio, you learn from your mistakes, right? You're too smart for that. Even though sometimes you are sentimental to a fault, and you let your emotions kind of rule, even though it goes over logic. In the end, I think you know what needs to be done, because shit, you're the high priestess, Scorpio. Do I even really have to tell you when you already know? To be fair, it's time for you to really be fair about the parts that you have to play within the situations that surround you. Perhaps there are people who always feel the need to compete with you. Perhaps you kind of give an energy of a kind of like a critical energy that makes people feel the need to do that. Perhaps because this has been like a cycle within different environments of different people. There's something that you're contributing to this that actually causes the same kind of outcome, because you're the common denominator, right? Do you ignore those small signs of betrayal? Do you let people hold you back? Do you stay a lot longer than you should because of your love and devotion for somebody? Possibly your misplaced loyalty. And where does it exactly come from? Where does it come from that you keep investing in people that haven't been fair to you? And perhaps you were a little more involved into your own undoing than you really understood or saw at the time. Because in the end, it does take two to tango, right? People can't necessarily take advantage of you unless you're giving too much from the go. And perhaps this was a cycle within your life that you are an overgiver because you never really felt nourished with the people around you. And maybe this was like this kind of like learned behavior or false beliefs that you have to overgive and do too much in order for those to love you. So it kind of puts people into that situation where even though if they don't right off intend to take advantage of you, you always end up feeling taken advantage of, or you end up giving too much because of it, and you never allowed them to meet you halfway either. Possibly, I don't know. That's something that you have to ask yourself, because if it is a repeating cycle, it's usually a lesson that has been trying to make itself clear to you for you to see. And that's what repeating cycles are. It's universe trying to make something known to you and make you aware of something. It's time to be fair with the people that is around you. Possibly the people that have betrayed you and let you down. Perhaps it's to be fair, if not to see things in such black and white situations, and to know the reason that that was done. It had to be done because it was preordained to the moment that we were born. Like, why did I have these abusive parents or family? Why were they so cruel? A lot of this times, like this scenario has been preordained by our birth chart, by the time we come into this kind of incarnation. And these people that we incarnate with, our family, our friends, our familials, you know, these are people that we've had past karmas with, and if they've shown themselves to be abusive and damaging in your life, it was because it was It was needed to put you onto your path that you needed to go and to make you who you are and needed to be in order for you to seek the path that was meant for you. And so did those abusive people and those parents and those things. And maybe it's needing to see things in a new perspective. And although they are toxic, and maybe they were toxic, and maybe they did use you, and maybe they did take advantage of you, but it's important to realize the part that you played, possibly staying too long or giving too much. Because you felt like maybe if you gave, that you would get that in return. And perhaps maybe because you never really felt safe and loved, you always wanted to make others feel safe and loved around you. And to create that heaven around you, but that puts you into that vulnerable state where you could get taken advantage of. If it's a cycle, it's time to be aware and be accountable for the parts that you played within it. If not, it'll be a never-ending story. And if it's a cycle, it's time to do yourself a better service by choosing another choice instead of putting yourself in compromising situations with compromising people who just take advantage of you. And any kind of like trials and tribulations and abusive environments or abusive people that you had around, it was something that needed to play out in order for you to achieve your heaven and to achieve your character, just like it was for your parents. And maybe that's what's needed, to be fair. And although they are toxic and, you can be accountable, it doesn't mean you have to continue to take that abuse. I'm not saying that. You could love them, but you could love them by afar. But this is something that's going to take the poison out and that hate out. Because Scorpios, we tend to... People tend to project a lot of their fear and anger and suspicion on us, and even if we don't intend to do anything, but that's just the kind of the way the Scorpio is, we're like that catalyst into projecting other people's unhealed wounds by bringing it up, and then they feel a certain way about us before they even speak to us. And that's possibly why there's been such kind of conflict within our lives, Scorpio, because there's always this underlying feeling that they feel a certain way about being around a Scorpio. And it really has nothing to do with you in particular. Sometimes it does, but a lot of times it doesn't. A lot of times it's what's going on within them. And you just kind of bring that out on people and to make them aware of it. And it's not easy, especially for you, because you tend to be misunderstood a lot, but it doesn't mean that it's not needed or necessary or beneficial. Because these are the awarenesses and realizations that we have to achieve in order for us to get our own honey, that land of milk and honey, like our own heaven. Because nobody is all good and all bad, and I know it's crazy being an Aries Scorpio, but it's not all black and white. It's not all good and all bad. It's about balance and a balanced perspective and a balanced work in life. And it's like that balance within relationships. And if you see that it's unbalanced, don't give anymore. And if you give more, then it's kind of like, well, you're kind of choosing to collude with someone that you give more than you receive from, right? But this is what's needed for you to get to your heaven. And you're given an opportunity, and it's very serendipitous, and it's messages from the universe. Listens to the signs and synchronicities and angel, those repeating numbers. You could hear messages from the universe from the radio. If you're thinking about a certain song, or if you turn on the radio and a song plays about a situation, listen to the wordings, listen to the signs of the universe. You were put in a very serendipitous position in order for you to achieve your ultimate wishes and your goals. And it's the gift from the divine, and this is not something to be taken for granted. And you've had to learn how to become flexible. Maybe you need to become more flexible because maybe you had a certain idea with the way that things are going to turn out, or they should, or what people should expect from you. Or maybe you had a lot of rigid beliefs on how things should. Now it's time for you to be a little more flexible. Perhaps you've had a perfectionist quality that kind of held you back, and maybe that's one of the things to let go of. Not everything has to be completely perfect. And it's not a prerequisite that it's perfect, that there's a perfect message or a perfect clean home or a perfect job for it to be divine, because it's the flaws that actually makes you who you are. That's, broken doesn't mean bad. It's just peppered with your own independence and your own character, something that's independent to you, Scorpio, and only you, and nobody can recreate or replicate. And it's time for you to be less hard about yourself. Not everything is gonna be completely perfect, but it doesn't even really need to be, because perfection is not the prerequisite of being divine, because perfection is in the eyes of the beholder, right? Ask yourself why. Reflect and go within. Why did things turn out the way they did? Why does my relationships or jobs kind of follow this kind of cycle? Maybe it's time for you to spend more time into figuring out your own subconscious beliefs and your subconscious drives as to what makes you do the things that you do that kind of sabotages yourself. Ask yourself why you need to be that perfectionist in order to feel good enough. Was it because of shame as a child? Perhaps you have too high of a standards of yourself and others because people had unfair standards of you. And you've kind of worked really hard to meet other people's expectations unconsciously. But when a Scorpio is done, like I said, if you don't got a brick wall handy, you ain't gonna stop a Scorpio, right? When a Scorpio's done, they're done. But it's important to remember that when you're done, it's important to ask yourself why you got to where you are, why things turned out the way they did. Otherwise, you go into a new situation and you'll play out the same dynamics until you figure that out. You're being guided by Spirit. I believe you do have a guardian angel. Maybe Jupiter in the 12th. But I don't know about but I don't know. So don't worry. It's time for you to have a reflection. You're going to get what you need in this lifetime or within this life. People will see you as victorious as long as you don't feed the beast. And people who are determined into bringing you down, and you know who those people are because usually they've done it before, unfortunately. But don't worry, Scorpio. You have a guardian angel watching over you. And you have a path to follow, and ain't nobody gonna stop you from achieving that. That's what I got for you, Scorpio. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe. If you like my content, a donation link below if you'd like to, donate. But I'll talk to you later. Bye.